to go over the Green Day song, Good Riddance, Time of Your Life. It's a song that I loved teaching a lot of my students early on. It's a great song for getting a lot of the basic chords together for the guitar. And what I find is that once you've gotten comfortable with the chords that are in this song, all of a sudden there's a whole lot of other songs you can get into, and you'll find that you maybe need like one or two other chords and you've got a whole other song altogether. Okay, but these, like, I really think of these chords as being kind of the basis for an awful lot of really classic kind of guitar songs. All right, so I'm going to just quickly go over the chords you're going to need for this song. We're going to have firstly the G chord, and you're going to see in this song we're going to do, I'm going to show you the G chord in a couple of different ways. This way I'm doing it here is involving 4 fingers. I've got the pinky and the ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st and 2nd strings. I've got my index finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and the middle finger is on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and that's my G chord. All right, now there's going to be a chord in the song. Another way to play a G chord, I always tend to refer to this as G2. It's my way of saying a second version of G, which is going to use 3 of the 4 notes that I'm playing here. But what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to play the 2nd string open on this one. And what I'm going to do with it in terms of the fingers is I'm going to use every finger except the index finger. So I'm going to set my pinky, it's going to stay common to both versions of the G. It's going to be on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. I'm going to set my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and the middle finger on the 5th fret on the 2nd string. And that's a G chord as well, or as I like to call it in this case, G2, is like a second version of G. If you're looking at a piece of music and you want to play a G chord, either one of these will work. But what you're going to find is the other chords that you're going to play are going to make it, for me, they make it really obvious which one of the 2 that I want to use. All right, so that's our 2 different versions of G, with 4 fingers and with 3 fingers. All right, now the other chords I'm going to use in this song, I'm going to use what's called a C add 9. And if I relate back to the G chord that I was playing, the C add 9, I'm really just taking my index finger and my middle finger and shifting them over by a string. So the pinky and the ring finger are going to stay right where they were, and the index is now going to be on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and the middle finger is going to be on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. And that's my C add 9. All right. Another chord I'm going to have in here, sort of related to the C add 9, is going to be the C chord, which, again, we're going to have diagrams for all of these on the video, but if I want to play the C chord, the way I'm set up for that, I've got the index on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, the middle finger's on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and finally the ring finger is on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. And I'm going to play just across those 5 strings. All right? With the other chords we're going to need in here are the D chord, which is a chord I'm playing across 4 strings, just the 4th string, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. And if you look at the diagram that we've posted for this, I always refer to the D chord as the triangle, just because of the shape that my fingers are outlining. And I find that if I can look at a chord and sort of see like a shape to it, it's going to help me remember it. So I always tend to explain this chord to people as the triangle. And I'm going to be fretting on the first 3 strings. My index finger is going to be at the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. My middle finger is going to play the same fret but on the 1st string. And my ring finger is going to be on the fret in between, of the string in between, at the 3rd fret. So there's my D chord. And the one other chord that we're going to come across in this song is going to be the E minor chord. And the E minor is going to involve just the index finger and the middle fingers. I'm going to be on the 4th and the 5th string, both at the 2nd fret. So I've got the index finger on top on the 5th string, and I've got the middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and I play across all 6 strings. All right, so that's the chords that we're going to be using as we play through this song. And when I teach this song, I like to sort of break it down to 3 different sections, and I like to kind of standardize it a little bit. Like I'll show you eventually like some of like the variations that they played on the recording, but what I really like to do at the beginning is, again, kind of standardize this a little bit. So we're going to deal with the intro, which is also the pattern that they're going to use in the verse through the song. All right, and what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to actually use a strumming pattern here. If you listen to the song, you'll hear the guitar player, Billy Joe, is doing a kind of a picking pattern. Kind of that kind of thing through the song, all right? And when I get beginning guitar students and they want to learn how to play the song, that picking pattern's a little bit tricky to do. So what I like to do is I've taken the chords that he played and I've sort of fleshed them out a little bit. Instead of playing kind of like a shortened version of the G that he's doing, I'm going to play across all 6 strings. Instead of doing this, I'm going to play the C add 9, and instead of sort of a partial version of the D, I'm going to play a full D chord. All right? And the strumming pattern I'm going to use here is a very simple pattern that can be used in a lot of songs that are in 4/4 time. And this is a simple pattern of down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. All right? So I've got, within that pattern, I've got 2 pauses between the 2 down strums and between the 2 up strums. And those pauses are what's going to give the strumming pattern kind of its pulse. All right? If at any point along the way in this video, if you need to pause the video to go over this stuff, by all means. But I wanted to sort of like go over the basic things that we're going to need to start with this song. And what I want to do now is I'm going to get you into actually playing through the song. So we're going to use, to begin with, for the intro and the verse, we're going to use the G, the C add 9, and the D chord. All right, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to play 2 patterns on G and then 1 pattern on each of C add 9 and D. All right, so it's going to sound like this. If I count in a 1, 2, 3, 4, I've got G, C add 9, and D, and then I'm going to repeat it.